The Gentle Push. Chapter 1. Burnout on the Backroads. Jamie hadn't changed out of her pajamas in 3 days. Not the cozy kind either. Just a stretched-out tee, mystery-stained, and an old pair of sweatpants she used to only wear when she cleaned the chicken coop. Now, they were everyday wear. The house smelled like something between burnt toast and sadness. A half-eaten bowl of cereal sat on the end table next to a dried-out baby wipe and 2 empty coffee mugs. Somewhere in the house, one of her 4 kids was watching TV too loud. She didn't have the energy to care, or correct, or even move. She used to care. About everything. Her house, her hair, her TikTok followers, her life. But lately, it was like someone had unplugged the whole system. Jamie sat on the couch, phone in hand, staring at her camera roll. There was a time not too long ago when she posted videos every day. Messy buns, beachy waves, budget-friendly updos. Hair had always been her thing. Back when she owned the salon in town, she could cheer someone up with a good cut and a solid pep talk. Back when she felt like herself. She opened TikTok and scrolled through old drafts, the guilt landing hard in her chest. People had followed her, trusted her. Now she couldn't even find the energy to wash her own hair, let alone help anyone else. Just as she was about to shut the app and sink further into her spiral, a knock sounded at the door. Not a polite knock either. A Christy knock. Jamie groaned. She ignored it, but her phone buzzed with a text a second later. "I know you're in there, sis. Let me in, or I'm climbing through the laundry room window." Jamie rolled her eyes, but a tiny smile tugged at the corner of her mouth. She padded over and opened the door. Christy stood on the porch holding a gallon of sweet tea, a bag from the bakery, and a look that said, "Don't even try to lie to me." Jamie leaned against the frame. "I look like something the barn cat dragged in." Christy didn't flinch. "And I love you anyway. Move! I'm coming in!" Jamie stepped aside, too tired to argue. Christy breezed into the kitchen like she owned the place, setting down the tea and pulling out 2 cinnamon rolls. "Your kids are alive, the house hasn't burned down, and you opened the door. That's 3 wins before noon." Jamie collapsed back onto the couch. "Don't." Christy sat beside her, sliding a paper plate onto her lap. "I'm not here to tell you what to do," she said. "I'm here to sit with you until you remember who you are." Jamie blinked hard. The tears came too quickly. "I don't even know how I got like this," she whispered. "I just stopped." Christy handed her a napkin. "That's how it happens. You give, and then one day there's nothing left to give, not even to yourself." Jamie sniffed, pulled her knees to her chest. "I don't want to be like this." "I know. I hate this version of me." "I don't." Jamie looked at her. Christy's voice was soft. "I know you're tired, but you're not broken. You're just in a slump. And I'm going to be your depression coach." Jamie laughed, choked and real. "Is that a thing?" Christy shrugged. "It is now." She reached into her tote bag and pulled out a binder. "I made you a chart. Don't roll your eyes. It's gentle. 3 things a day. That's it. Hydrate, wash your face, go outside for 5 minutes. We can build from there." Jamie looked down at the paper. "You made this for me?" "I printed 2, Christy said, smiling. "I'm doing it with you." Jamie took a deep breath, then nodded. "Okay," she whispered. "I'll try." Christy leaned her head against Jamie's shoulder. "That's all I'm asking." The next day, Jamie posted her first hair tutorial in months. Her voice was shaky. Her eyeliner was uneven, but she smiled at the end, And that smile, however small, felt like the beginning of something new. Chapter 2. The Gentle Push begins. Christy had never thought of herself as a coach. She was more of a casserole and a clipboard kind of woman. Organizer of church potlucks, keeper of the emergency babysitter list, the one you called when your husband's truck broke down and you needed a ride to the mechanic, and then the grocery store, and probably the pharmacy too. But the look on Jamie's face when she filled out her first little 3 wins chart, that did something to Christy's heart she hadn't felt in a while. Purpose. Real, bone-deep purpose. Now that the kids were in school full-time, she'd been asking the Lord for something new. Not a full-time job exactly. Denny's diesel shop kept them afloat. But something that would make her feel useful again. Needed. Important. She wasn't out to build an empire. She just wanted to help. And Jamie? Jamie was her start. That first week, they kept it simple. The chart stayed on Jamie's fridge. Hydrate, wash face, get dressed. Jamie sent Christy a picture each morning. Hair in a bun, face damp from a quick splash of water, holding a water bottle like it was a trophy. It was a trophy. Christy would text back, "Look at you showing up for yourself. Today's version of you is cheering for tomorrow's." Gentle. Perfect. Every time. She didn't overdo it. She knew the line between encouragement and pressure. If Jamie didn't text, Christy didn't nag. She'd just send a meme or a dumb gif. Once, it was a picture of a llama wrapped in a bathrobe with the caption, "Mood." Jamie texted back, "That llama gets me." By Friday, Jamie had posted a second TikTok. Just a hair oil tutorial with voiceover, but it got over 2,000 views. One of her old followers commented, "You're back," with a row of heart emojis. That night, Christy made a pot of chili and took it over. They sat at Jamie's table, kids running wild in the yard, the smell of damp cornfields drifting in through the screen door. "I feel weirdly proud of myself," Jamie said, spooning sour cream into her bowl. "Like, it's not a big deal, but it also kind of is." Christy grinned. "Of course it is. You got dressed, you hydrated, you filmed a video. That's 3 for 3 on the chart today." Jamie leaned back in her chair, a rare flicker of light in her eyes. "You think there are more women like me?" Christy tilted her head. "Like what?" Jamie shrugged. "Smart, capable, totally stuck, too overwhelmed to even know where to start." Christy nodded. "I think there are thousands." Jamie stared at her, something simmering behind her mascara. "You know, you could do this for real, like, not just for me." Christy laughed. "Who's got time for that?" Jamie smiled. "You do. Your kids are in school, your husband works full-time. You've got the heart, the brain, and the clipboard." Christy sipped her sweet tea, unsure what to say. She wasn't trying to build a business. She just wanted her friend back. But maybe, just maybe, there was room for both. Later that night, after the dishes were done and the kids tucked in, Christy curled up on the couch with her planner. She flipped to a blank page and wrote at the top, "The Gentle Push Ideas." Underneath, she listed 3-step daily checklist, encouragement texts, before and after photos, weekly reflection, progress tracking. She tapped her pen thoughtfully, then added, "App." Then she circled it 3 times. Chapter 3. Mascara and Momentum. Jamie stared at her reflection like she was meeting someone new. Not glamorous, not perfect, but present. She'd just put on mascara for the first time in weeks. Her lashes looked longer than she remembered. There was something in her face, maybe the faintest glow of hope, that reminded her of the woman who used to run a busy salon, host styling workshops, and laugh like she meant it. She leaned toward the mirror, adjusted her phone on the stand, and hit record. "Okay," she whispered, exhaling. "Let's try this again." The video was short. Messy bun tutorial with a side of honesty. She didn't use filters or fake enthusiasm. She just showed what she knew and said, "If you're struggling to do something simple today, just know you're not alone." This little bun got me through. She almost didn't post it, but Christy had made her promise. She uploaded it, then tossed her phone on the bed and went to make mac and cheese. By the time she came back, it had over 600 likes and dozens of comments. "I needed this today. Thank you for being real. This hit me in the feels." She smiled, then cried. Not the messy, hopeless kind of cry she'd been doing lately. The healing kind. The kind that sneaks up on you like sunlight through a dirty window. That night, she texted Christy. "I'm starting to feel like myself again. Not totally, but almost." Christy replied with a heart emoji and, "Progress, not perfection. Remember? So proud of you." Jamie stood a little taller the next morning. She kept up with her checklist. Water, skincare, outside time. Some days were off, sure, but something had shifted. By the second week, she was getting messages from strangers asking if she'd do a live hair Q&A. One was a mom from Missouri who wrote, "I haven't worn makeup in 3 months, but your videos make me want to try." Jamie replied, "You don't need makeup to be beautiful, but if you want to wear it, let's find something simple and fun." The woman responded with a crying emoji and said, "That's the kindest thing anyone said to me all year." That message did something to Jamie, stirred something. She messaged Christy, "Can I come over tomorrow? I have an idea." Christy was already on her second cup of coffee when Jamie arrived the next morning. Damp curls under a ball cap, mascara on, and earrings in. "You look amazing," Christy said. Jamie grinned. "I feel amazing." They sat on the porch with matching tumblers of iced tea, the wind gently lifting the scent of cut grass and sweet corn from the fields. Jamie took a deep breath. "I think you're supposed to help more women?" Christy raised a brow. "Is this a compliment or an assignment?" "Both." Jamie leaned forward. "I've been thinking, what you did for me. There are thousands, maybe millions of women who need that. Gentle accountability. A reason to get up. You didn't just cheer me on. You made me feel like I could cheer for myself again." Christy looked away, thoughtful. "I don't even know where I'd start." Jamie pulled out her phone. "Well, I do." She opened the Notes app and scrolled. "I wrote down a few ideas. The gentle push is your brand. It's perfect. You already have the framework. We could build a website, maybe a digital workbook or some sort of email series." Christy looked stunned. Jamie smiled. "You helped me rediscover my fire. Let me help you light yours." That night, Jamie couldn't sleep. She sat in bed, laptop open, digging through old branding materials from her salon days. She opened Canva and started building a mock-up. The gentle push, small steps, big change. It wasn't polished yet, but it was something. Christy had pulled her out of the hole. Helping her launch this idea? That might be Jamie's way of staying out of it for good. Chapter 4. The Table Turns. Christy didn't know what to make of Jamie's sudden confidence. One minute she was wrapped in a blanket like a sad burrito, and now she was whipping up logos on Canva and using phrases like market position. They sat at Christy's dining table again, same spot where Jamie had cried into her chili just a few weeks earlier. But today, Jamie wore skinny jeans and a graphic tee that read, "Grace over grind." Her lip gloss shimmered, and her eyes were lit with purpose. Christy, on the other hand, felt like someone had dropped her in the deep end of a pool she didn't know she was near. Jamie tapped her screen and spun it toward Christy. Okay, look. I mocked up a landing page for the gentle push. Don't freak out. Christy squinted at it. There was a photo of sunflowers, soft fonts, and the phrase small steps. Big change. Underneath, a smiling placeholder photo. It's cute, Christy said slowly. Jamie rolled her eyes. It's not about cute, it's about real. You've already helped one woman turn her life around. That's proof of concept. And before you say no, you don't have to be a guru. You just have to be you. Christy shook her head. I don't even know what half of this stuff means. Jamie leaned in. Then let me teach you. I used to coach stylists, remember? Not just cut hair. I helped people build real businesses. I can do that again, for you. Christy laughed, half nervous. So now you're my coach? Yep, Jamie said, sipping her tea. Tables turned, friend. Christy looked down at her hands. They were strong, cracked from gardening, nails short and clean. Hands that cooked meals, folded clothes, helped pull people out of the mud. Could these same hands build something online? Could she be useful in a world that lived more on screens than in kitchens? Jamie touched her arm gently. You have a gift, and there are women just like me, overwhelmed, good-hearted, barely hanging on, who need someone like you to come alongside them. Christy's throat tightened. But I don't want to leave anyone behind. I don't want to make this about money or forget why I started. Jamie nodded. Then don't. Build it slow. Build it right. But build it. Because you might only be able to work with 5 people at a time, but a tool, a program, a system, that can work with hundreds. Christy exhaled slowly, the weight of what Jamie was saying settling into her chest like a seed planted deep in good soil. I don't even know where to begin, she whispered. Jamie grinned. You begin where you began with me. One small step, one gentle push. Later that night, after dinner and dishes and a walk around the yard with Denny, Christy sat at her kitchen table with a legal pad. She wrote, Gentle Push Program, First Draft, Daily Checklist, Text Reminders, Encouragement Quotes, Photo Check-ins, Progress Tracker, $500 Challenge, Small Group Chats. The ideas poured out faster than she could scribble them down. She didn't have to build an empire, just a bridge to help women go from stuck to steady. She pulled out her laptop, opened ChatGPT, Jamie had set her up, and typed, How can I use technology to build an encouragement-based habit app for women? Within seconds, answers poured in. For the first time in weeks, Christy felt something stir in her chest. It wasn't just purpose, it was possibility. Chapter 5. Idea to Inspiration. Christy couldn't sleep. She wasn't worried. She was wired. The kind of buzz that came after a God nudge and a half pitch from your best friend, who happened to also be your former burnout case. The notebook on her nightstand was full of scribbles now. Notes about routines, encouragement ideas, voice memo prompts. But one line kept circling her brain like a ticker tape. How do I help more women without giving up my life? She couldn't run a business that took her away from her kids or Denny. She wasn't looking to be a tech CEO. But what if she could use technology like a tool, not the whole job, just the extension of her hand? She tiptoed out to the living room, opened her laptop, and stared at the blinking cursor. Build a habit support app for women recovering from burnout using ChatGPT. Include daily check-ins, photo prompts, rewards for completing small goals. She hit enter, and ChatGPT answered like a polite genius. It gave her a basic app wireframe, sections for goal setting, check-ins, user input, and habit encouragement feedback. It felt doable. It felt like hope. Jamie was already at the bean house by the time Christy walked in the next morning, laptop open, double espresso steaming beside it. You brought the planner? Jamie asked with a grin. Christy nodded and slid into the booth. And the notebook, but also this. She pulled out a sticky note with a password scrawled on it. I created a free ChatGPT account like you said. Typed in what I wanted to build. It answered in full sentences, like it knew me. Jamie leaned in, reading. You really did it? I did. It gave me a whole plan. Jamie's mouth opened slightly in surprise, then her eyes twinkled. Look at you. Just a few weeks ago, you barely knew how to use Google Docs. Christy smiled, a little shy. I'm still figuring it out. Jamie pushed her coffee toward her. We'll figure it out together. They spent 2 hours sketching out a vision. Jamie opened Canva again and pulled up new color palettes: dusty rose, sage green, soft sunflower. Christy read from her notes. We'll keep the daily habits simple. Drink water, get dressed, move your body, connect with someone, encourage yourself, document it with a photo. They'd use SMS or in-app push notifications to nudge women daily, just like Christy had done with her in-person coaching, but automated. Personal, but scalable. They brainstormed app names Gentle Push, Nudge. The Bloom app, from stuck to steady. Jamie was sold on the Gentle Push app to keep it consistent with Christy's voice. Christy agreed. They divided the next steps. Jamie. Branding, simple web page, pre-launch email list. Christy. ChatGPT prompts, daily content ideas, habit framework, researching no-code platforms. That evening, Christy showed Denny the app concept. He tilted his head. So you're building like a coachin' robot? Christy laughed. No, more like a friendly reminder robot, but built with love. He scratched his jaw. You're good at helping people feel seen, babe. If this helps you do that, I'm in. Just don't forget to rest in between. I won't, she promised. That weekend, Jamie helped Christy film a short video, a calm, gentle intro to the idea of building better days one small step at a time. They shared it in a few women's Facebook groups, then offered a soft start circle for anyone who wanted to test the method via email and text. Christy expected 10 women to sign up. She got 53 in the first 48 hours. One of them wrote, I've been crying in my laundry room every morning for a month. I think this might be the thing that saves me. Jamie sent the message to Christy. You're on to something big, she wrote. God-sized. Chapter 6. ChatGPT and Checklists. The first time Christy explained ChatGPT to her Bible study group, it went about as well as you'd expect. So, it's like Siri but smarter? A robot therapist? Isn't that how the Terminator started? Christy smiled and passed the muffins. It's not perfect, but it helps me brainstorm. Think of it like an idea generator with manners. After they stopped teasing her about raising up AI disciples, one of the younger moms admitted she used ChatGPT to meal plan and create chore charts for her twins. Christy's ears perked up. It wasn't just a tech tool, it was a mom tool. And if anyone knew how to put tools to work, it was Christy. Back at home, she pulled out her laptop and opened a fresh browser tab. ChatGPT blinked back like an eager assistant. She typed, Help me create a 30-day personal recovery checklist for women dealing with mild depression or burnout. Keep it simple, gentle, and encouraging. What returned took her breath away. Day 1. Drink a full glass of water first thing. Write one thing you're proud of. Day 2. Get dressed, even if you're not going anywhere. Take a photo. Day 3. Sit outside for 5 minutes and breathe. Day 4. Text someone and say thank you. Day 5. No expectations today, just rest. It was like the words had been written by someone who knew what it felt like to crumble and rebuild. Slowly, one soft step at a time, she copied the list into her planning doc, then asked ChatGPT to make matching affirmations for each day. It responded, "Today, I choose gentleness over guilt. Small steps are still steps. I am not behind. I am building." Christy blinked back tears. It was exactly the kind of love letter she wished someone had sent her during her own darker days. Jamie was in awe. "I mean, I knew AI could write captions, but this?" she said, scrolling through the 30-day list. "This is straight up Holy Spirit tech." Christy laughed. "It's like having a superpowered co-writer who never sleeps." They sat in Jamie's sunroom with lemonade and laptops, building out a rough version of the app using a no-code platform. Jamie showed Christy how to use Glide to create a working prototype. Each user would receive daily checklist with optional photo upload. Gentle affirmation. A choice. I did this. I will try tomorrow. A tracker that filled in a flower petal for each day, completed. Jamie tapped the screen. The petals bloom with each act of self-kindness. Cheesy or genius? Christy touched her heart. Both. They sent the first beta version to 12 women who'd joined the Soft Start Circle. Day 1's message read, "Welcome to the gentle push. Today, you drink a full glass of water and remind yourself, I am doing the best I can. Because you are." Christy held her breath. 3 hours later, a photo came through. An older woman holding a mason jar of lemon water and smiling through tears. Then another, someone's messy bun and a caption, "Did it. Still sad, but I showed up." And another, just a check mark and, "Thanks for making it simple. Everything else feels so big." Christy put her hand over her mouth and whispered, "Lord, you are doing something." By the end of the week, 10 of the 12 testers had completed at least 5 days in a row. One wrote, "It's like having a sister in my pocket, cheering me on." Another added, "I've done therapy, but this is different. This is like a whisper saying, come back to yourself." Christy printed out their messages and stuck them on her fridge with magnets shaped like sunflowers. Every morning, she read them while the coffee brewed. Not to boost her ego, but to remind herself that every little prompt, every gentle checklist, every message mattered. It wasn't about growing a business. It was about growing people. Chapter 7. Proof of Concept. Christy had never done a Zoom call in her life, but here she was, propped up at the kitchen table with a ring light clipped to the cabinet door and her iPad balanced on a stack of cookbooks. Jamie adjusted the angle and gave her a thumbs up. "You look like a Pinterest therapist." Christy wrinkled her nose. "What if I sound dumb?" "You won't. You sound like hope." The call started with a few dings as the beta testers joined. 12 women from all over, a retired teacher in Iowa, a young mom in Arizona, a midwife in North Carolina. All muted, all wide-eyed. Christy took a breath and smiled. "Hi, y'all. I'm Christy, and I started this whole gentle push thing on accident. Mostly because my friend was in a rough season and I wanted to love her through it." Jamie popped into the frame and waved. "Hi, I'm the friend." Laughter rolled through the screen like sunlight cracking ice. Christy continued. "We thought maybe a few of you might want the same kind of support. Small steps, gentle check-ins. So we made this app. And you tested it. And I just want to say, thank you." The screen lit up with smiling faces. One woman unmuted herself and said, "I haven't felt this seen in years. You helped me pick up my life one glass of water at a time." Another chimed in, voice shaking. "My daughter told me I'm nicer lately. I think it's because I'm being kinder to me." Christy wiped her eyes. Jamie gave her a look that said, "See? You were born for this." Later that night, Christy couldn't sleep again. But this time, it wasn't worry. It was wonder. She texted Jamie, "Is this real?" Jamie replied, "It's real, it's working, and we're just getting started." They scheduled a second beta round. 25 new users, this time with one small twist. Christy had asked ChatGPT to create a rewards tracker tied to a virtual wallet. She called it the $500 challenge. Each user started with a pretend $500 balance. Every time they checked off a task or uploaded a progress photo, they earned back part of the money. $10 for a photo, $5 for hydration, $25 for finishing a week. The total rebuilt with each win. At the end of the challenge, they'd calculate how much of their life they'd reclaimed, and then decide what it was worth to them to pay forward. Donate? Buy a real encouragement kit? Subscribe for the next 30 days? It wasn't about guilt. It was about growth, and giving women something tangible to see. Jamie added a tracker to the app that looked like a little mason jar filling with coins. "Visual feedback works," she told Christy. "Remember how much you loved coloring in chore charts for your kids? Same vibe, just prettier." They launched the second beta round on a Monday. By Thursday, 3 women had already completed 10 actions and earned back $120 in value. One woman messaged Christy privately, "Even if it's just fake money, it makes me feel like I'm finally making deposits into my own life." On Friday, Christy met Denny at the front porch swing after work. He handed her a sweet tea and kissed her cheek. "You're glowing, woman, like full-on porch light energy." Christy laughed and curled up beside him. "I feel like I'm doing what I was built for." "You are." She told him about the mason jar coins, the Zoom call, the new batch of users. "Can you believe this all started with a piece of paper and a sad friend in my kitchen?" Denny put his arm around her. "Every good business starts with love. Yours just happened to come with checklists and lemonade." Christy looked up at the stars above rural Nebraska and whispered, "Lord, thank you for every small yes." Chapter 8. Systems and Sunshine. Christy sat on the porch swing with her laptop balanced on her knees, the faint scent of lilac drifting from the bushes she'd planted back when her kids were toddlers. Back then, she'd been building forts out of couch cushions and pretending to be a pirate captain. Now she was building a system, not just an app, not just a one-time encouragement group, a system for hope, for wholeness, for repeatable, scalable support. She'd spent the whole morning on a video call with a virtual assistant Jamie found, an organized 20-something from North Carolina, who'd offered to help turn the feedback from their second beta into a better onboarding experience. "You're going to want automations," the girl had said, sipping iced coffee like it was a sermon. "You can't manually email all 50 people every day." Christy had laughed. "I barely know what a Zapier is." "We'll start simple," the VA said, smiling. "You're already ahead because you've built your system with empathy. That's the part tech can't fake." Later that day, Christy walked Jamie through the updates. A soft, nurturing onboarding flow using email and SMS. A 3-minute welcome video, filmed on Jamie's iPhone. A Start Here checklist with links to habit explanations. An AI-generated daily message queue, reviewed by Christy for tone. An option to personalize the app with the user's name and goals. Christy stared at the to-do list and smiled. "It's like I'm planting a garden, but instead of seeds, it's systems." Jamie grinned. "And instead of dirt under your nails, it's tech lingo in your head." Christy laughed, but the metaphor stuck with her. Every piece of this was like preparing soil, creating conditions for women to grow. Not because someone told them to, but because they finally had space to believe they could. That weekend, Christy met with a woman named Becca who lived 30 miles away and had been part of the second beta group. Becca drove a minivan full of kids, wore a baseball cap and yoga pants, and had eyes full of both exhaustion and fire. They met at the Grain Co-op Cafe, halfway between their farms. Becca set her phone down on the table, screen lit up with the mason jar tracker and a row of 5 completed flowers blooming underneath. "I'm a different person than I was a month ago," she said quietly. Christy sipped her tea and waited. Becca went on. "I didn't think I could ever be consistent again. I'd tried planners, podcasts, even a life coach, but this, it didn't ask for more. It reminded me that less was okay." Christy swallowed the lump in her throat. "That's exactly the point." Becca looked at her. "So what happens now? You opening this to the public?" Christy hesitated. "We're close. The systems are getting better. Jamie's coaching me through it, but I don't want to lose the heart." Becca nodded. "Then don't. Keep it small if you have to. Charge enough to stay in it. But don't you dare stop. This saved me." They hugged in the cafe parking lot. 2 women who looked like any other Midwest mamas, but were quietly building a revolution of healing 1 glass of water and mascara wand at a time. Jamie spent Sunday night making final edits to the website. She added a Founding Circle tab, an early access group for the first 50 paid users who wanted more than just the app. Group coaching, Q&A calls, weekly check-ins. She texted Christy, "It's go time. Ready?" Christy replied, "Deep breath. Yes. Let's launch our Garden of Hope." Chapter 9. The Founding Circle. Christy didn't sleep the night before launch. It wasn't nerves exactly. It was reverence, like something sacred was about to begin. At 6 a.m., her phone dinged. Jamie had texted, "Website is live, email scheduled, prayed over it. Let's go change the world, one to-do at a time." Christy whispered, "Amen," and sipped her tea. She sat down at her kitchen table, the same spot where she once wrote encouragement lists for Jamie on a legal pad. Now, those handwritten scraps had become something digital, something scalable, something that might carry hope beyond their zip code. The email hit inboxes at 6:02. By 6:15, 4 women had signed up. By 7, they were at 11. By noon, they'd passed 28. Every new name that pinged her inbox made Christy's heart thump with awe. Not because of the number, but because behind every name was a story. A woman somewhere, choosing to believe she was worth the effort. Jamie was glued to the back end of the website like a stage manager on opening night. She messaged Christy every hour with mini milestones. 12 signups, 21, over halfway, 30. Someone from Canada joined. She kept track of their founding group in a spreadsheet, noting who chose monthly plans, who opted for the text-only version, and who selected the small group coaching add-on. At 3:17 p.m., Christy called her. 46, Jamie whooped. "Oh, we are so close." "I know," Christy exhaled. "And every time I see a name, I picture them at their kitchen tables, opening that first message, thinking, maybe this time will be different." "It is different," Jamie said gently, "because it started with love." Christy wiped her cheek and smiled. "You really think we can serve them all?" Jamie paused. "We don't have to serve them all at once. We just have to serve the next one." By 8:23 p.m., they hit 50. The final woman to register was a grandmother in Ohio who left this note on her application. "My granddaughter said I've been quiet since Papa died. I think it's time to start speaking to myself again. Thank you for being here." Christy read it out loud to Denny, who sat beside her, holding her hand as they watched the names settle on the screen. 50, he said softly. "You did it." Christy shook her head. "We did it. God did it. Jamie did it. Those ladies who believed when it was just a Google form did it." She leaned her head on his shoulder. "Tomorrow," she said, "we begin." Monday morning dawned with a peach-pink sky and a to-do list full of holy work. Christy's daily SMS prompts went out at 7 a.m. sharp. Today's gentle push: drink a full glass of water. Say your name out loud and smile. You are worthy of kindness. Affirmation: I am not behind. I am blooming. The app's dashboard lit up with check marks, photo uploads, and gentle replies. Some women sent selfies in bathrobes holding coffee mugs. Others uploaded flower pics with captions like, "This is my new start." One woman wrote, "I cried while brushing my teeth today, but I brushed, and that counts." Christy replied, "That counts more than you know. You're here. You showed up. That's everything." By sunset, over 90% of the group had completed their first action. Christy stood barefoot in her backyard, staring up at the stars. She thought about the dream that started at her kitchen table, about Jamie, about the women who would open that message tomorrow and start again. Not to be perfect, just to keep going. Chapter 10, The First 10. Christy woke up on day 30 to birdsong and the ding of the app's dashboard. 10 women had completed the entire challenge from start to finish. They'd checked off tasks, submitted daily reflections, posted real-time photos, and, more than anything, they'd shown up. And now, they were emailing her stories. One woman, a single mom in Kansas, wrote, "I'd lost myself in laundry and casseroles. Now I get dressed even when no one's coming over. I even started jogging again. That wasn't on the checklist, but I put it there anyway." Another woman wrote, "I used to cry folding socks. Now I fold socks and play worship music. That counts, right?" Christy sat at her table, holding her tea in both hands. "It counts more than you'll ever know," she whispered. That morning, she and Jamie hosted a virtual closing circle for the first 10. All 10 women showed up. There was Becky, who never turned her camera on, but sent funny cat photos in the group chat. Linda, the grandmother who shared a new Bible verse every week. Tasha, who started designing her own planner pages after seeing the flowers bloom in the app. Each woman had grown, not into perfection, but into permission. Permission to keep choosing themselves. Jamie shared her screen and showed the stats: 91% daily participation. 96% said they'd recommend the program. 87% wanted to continue with a monthly subscription. Christy looked into the camera, heart pounding. This isn't just a checklist or an app. This is proof that small steps matter, that showing up, even when it's messy, is enough. She paused. "Y'all were the first 10, and you'll always be our roots." Later that week, Christy received a message from a woman named Danielle. Danielle had watched from the sidelines, too afraid to join the first group, but curious enough to subscribe to the emails. She wrote, "I've been watching, reading, crying sometimes, and I just need to know, is it too late to start?" Christy replied, "It's never too late. You're right on time." Jamie was sitting in her car outside the co-op when she opened the Stripe account. She gasped. She called Christy. "Friend, you're not gonna believe this," Christy answered, breathless from watering her garden. "What?" "We brought in $2,120 in the first 30 days. Christy went silent. Jamie continued, "That's after we covered app hosting, after the email service, after the Canva Pro upgrade." Christy blinked into the sun. "We made real money?" "We made real impact. The money just proves it can keep going." That night, Christy and Denny celebrated with takeout on the back porch. "What you think, Mrs. CEO?" he teased, raising his root beer bottle. Christy smiled. "I think I finally understand. This isn't about growing a business. It's about growing brave." Denny took her hand, and it all started with a gentle push. Christy sat at her kitchen table again, this time planning her next round. New content, new faces, new prayers. She still had her sticky notes, still had her old notebook. But now she also had proof that systems and checklists and tech could hold space for real healing, that friendship could spark something bigger than fear, that women in the middle of nowhere could build something that reached everywhere. She lit a candle, typed her first welcome message. "Hi, I'm Christy. This is the gentle push. You're not broken, you're blooming." And somewhere, someone on the other side of that screen exhaled for the first time in days. Because now, she wasn't doing it alone.